Good afternoon. This is Cifaretto, or Hunter. This is going to be the third video in my kind of prepping for Molten Core series, mainly talking about fire res gear and options that tanks can use. And some of this might apply to DPS classes, whether you're melee, magic, or healers as well. There's still some items that you can use that I'll show off, and I'll kind of explain why. And kind of after that, I'll go over a couple consumes that you should be using for Molten Core. And lastly, I'll go into like some nitty-gritty stuff in my builds and kind of my rationales behind them. Like, you know, if you've been viewing the channel for a while now, you might know all of my builds and all that, but I'm going to talk about, alternatives and go into like nitty-gritty details about why I choose one piece over another, and vice versa. So my current fire res set, you can ignore this if you have a Draenei in your party like I do, or Draenei in your raid. You only need 70. It would be best to have a guild or a group of friends you play with that has a Draenei, and I can also get this to 80 in my fire res set, but I'll show that off later. And this is going to be primarily for single target. So I'm using the Mystic Enchant where I have the Seal of Vengeance or Corruption if you're Horde to get 10 expertise. So keep that in mind as well. Alright, Cenarian Infantry Helm. More offensive tanking piece, but it does provide a lot of armor. Still decent strength and stamina, especially with the Synchronist Vengeance enchant. I think it's kind of necessary for this, for that plus 10 hit. Depending on how you build, it might not be, but I'm sticking with it for now. And it helps your expertise quite a bit. It helps you hold threat better with that increased critical strike, the extra strength. So I think this is a solid tanking piece, whether you're more traditional mitigation oriented or more offensive orientated like I am. Okay, Scalebane Pendant. This is a plus 9 fire res neck, plus 10 stamina, increases defense, parry, block, so very much a tanking item. And I'll actually pull it up on the map where I found it, because I got Kalmador, go to Dust, Willow Marsh. I think it's about right around here, where my my cursor is hovering. I'll just stay here a little longer. And so this is a fully upgraded World Forged item. And there, you'll see there is quite a bit of World Forged stuff in this gear set. So be mindful this last week, the last 4 days before Molten Core drops, how you're spending your runes, making sure you're doing every day to make sure by day 1 you have the proper fire res World Forged gear, because I think I still should be at 495 PvE. Yep. Okay. Obviously, for the mitigation, these pieces will probably soon get replaced by tier pieces, but I use the Dark Soul shoulders here, the legs, chest, and shoulders. I use the 3-piece for that impressive defense rating, and really these are essential to get your hit rating where it needs to be for this fire res build. So I don't think there's any really replacements, at least for trinkets are replaceable here. I don't think much else is, honestly, unless people know gear pieces or World Forge pieces that I don't know about. I mean, there's 1,800 of them, so obviously I don't have all of them, nor do I have the time. So anyone who knows anything, please don't hesitate to comment below. I'm using the Mythic Wildfire Cape right now. I believe this is Uber's drop, Upper Blackrock Spire. I have the Greater Fire Resistance enchant, which can be bought for 80 gold at Silithus. There's an enchanting vendor there. I think her name's Vari or Varia or something. I don't know. She's in the main quartermaster hold, wherever you set your Hearthstone to. You get a total of 32 of fire resistance on this with the Greater Fire Res enchant. There are some alternatives, obviously. Cape of the Fire Salamander. You get 14 fire res, a little more stamina. Let's see what the defense rating comparison is. I think this is probably Bis if you're going for fire res. Obviously, there's like some chromatic cloaks of stamina that have like the fire res enchants, but I don't think it's going to be as much as this. I don't think you'll be hitting 32 on one item unless it's the Wildfire Cape. One thing of note, so I spoke in the last video, the collaboration I did with Chadrick, about an enchant, and that enchant is called the Flame Weave Armor Patch. It's a leatherworking enchant, and I have applied it to my hands on this set. And when MC drops, what I'm thinking I'll do is I'll probably sack the +7 stamina on my stompers, and I'll probably get rid of the 3% increased threat defense rating, the Earthward Gambison enchant. Or alternatively, what I might do, I might leave this piece as is, and if I can find it, the Dark Soul Breastplate of the Beast that I have, it's a +4 all stats. I might just replace this or just craft a new piece to get that fire res enchant. So that would be +15 total from those patches. They're going for about 99 to like 110 on the auction house right now. I bet that will go up, so I would stockpile them now. Or if you have leatherworking, you can craft them at your leisure. If I get the Rune Golem Mythic, I'm going to obviously have this here. I'm also emphasizing block as much as I can, hence the Rune Golem Shackles, the Exalted Stompers of the Argent Dawn, Western Eastern Plaguelands. We can get these. And yeah, like, there's no better block hands than the Iceforge Gauntlets, so I'm going with these. I wish I could use the Dreadguard, but this Crimson Dragon Scale Shield, also World Forged. It's like south of Arathi. It's where those elite dragons spawn. I don't know the exact location on the map, and I don't want to make a fool of myself pulling up. So, yeah, that's the shield I would recommend. There's also I think it's called like the Draconian Defender. It's like Dire Maul where that drops. I don't think it's as much fire resist, but it also has, I think, hit on it. So that's something to consider, but I'm trying to really min-max fire res, so I'm going with this. There's also some bracers. I incorrectly said Molten Core in my last video, but there's these fire resist bracers that can drop in BRD. I don't remember the exact name, but I don't think they have as much like block value. And if you are like really min-maxing fire res, you can go with those, because this doesn't provide any hit or expertise. Speaking of like a more defensive block or defense item, Unmelting Ice Girdle, the new one that has the expertise rating. As far as I know, I don't think there's. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. There's those blacksmithing belt enchants. Don't think there's any magic resistance ones, but if there are, you could maybe do that. Again, I try and stack stamina where I can. It's gonna be tough to take the +7 stamina hit from these. I might buy another set to get the Flame Weave patch on and just see how that is, but that's my goal. Iceforge, I still don't know where they drop exactly, so someone else can comment. One ring to flame them all. This is in the very center of Ungoro Crater in the lava lake where the fire elementals spawn. And you have to like dive into this fire lake. The hitbox on the ring is very small, so like be careful when you get it or else you'll burn to death. But it's easy to get. And the fully upgraded one is +13 fire res with a lot of different stats that are buffed in some capacity. So like any class can get this. And speaking of any class for like rings, I also think this Geoband can be like used by anyone. And the more I think about it, the more I think this piece is essential. I know it's a little more offensive, but the hit rating it provides is 15, I think, unless they fixed it. So let's just check. Yep, they haven't fixed it. Don't tell them. Yeah. this gives you plus 7 fire res. And so these 2 ring slots is a total of 20 fire res. Trinkets, you can kind of go any way you want. Any way you want it, as Journey says. So I have a blazing emblem here, which is just like a trinket you can buy at the auction house. You can obviously buy one that's more, and I'm going to. I'm just waiting for a couple other things to sell. There's one I've seen one that goes for like plus 25 fire resist. Obviously that one's going to be more expensive. They are getting up in price. So Blazing Emblem is one option, Molten Core Medallion another 15. So Trinkets here is plus 30. This is plus 20. With this, it's plus 5. With this, it'd be another plus 5. So that would be what? 50? Because this is 15. No, I'm an idiot. This would be 60. Then 73. Then 105, then 114, which is what I should be at right now. 109. Well, I must have done math wrong somewhere. Oh, yeah, because I don't have these enchanted. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I would be, with the chest enchant and the leg enchant, the Flame Weave armor patch, I'd get to 119. Then with Fire Res Aura, 169. Then with Fused Sizzling Roast, a must-have. This will be about 184. And I think the goals for tank on Ascended, from what I've heard, is around like 200 to 250. Obviously, we have greater fire protection potions to use. They also share cooldowns with, like, the magic resistance potions. And really, like, the Fused Sizzling Roast is what you'd use. I don't think, unless they've changed it, I don't think our Fire Res Aura stacks with, like, the Fire Res totems. There's other trinkets you can use. And there's another ring you can use for alternatives. Heart of the Scale. So, on use, it gives you fire resistance by 20. Then this lasts for an entire minute. It gives you quite a hefty dose of stamina, which is much more than can be said for either of these trinkets. And they're really bringing down my item level. Not that that will matter much, as long as the gear is good. So, there's a ring I have here, the Dimly Opalescent Ring of Shadow Resistance. You can farm this using like Marks of Triumph. I don't have I think it's about 44. Let me go back to where it was. Sorry, guys. I know I'm kind of rushing here, but whatever. So the role you want would obviously be fire resistance. It might take a couple of tries, but if you're farming Sholomance, like, do a bunch of lower Sholomance runs. Probably get like 12 or 13 each, I think, each run. You can get them pretty fast, like... Spend like 4 hours doing that, you can start getting some good rolls. It's something to consider. Like, plus 17 is pretty good. I mean, that beats out One Ring and Geoband. But like I said, with Geoband, it provides so much hit. So it's just something to consider. Like, if you don't have this, this is also still at this World Forged if I didn't mention it. Again, I'm not sure the exact location. But yeah. Again, just kind of going over the full set. Like, I'm emphasizing block as much as I can. Obviously, I wish I could use something that provides a little more block rating. But, like, you know, you'll probably only need the Fire Res for, like, Baron and, Rag. I mean, for Gar, Lucifron, other, Major Domo, you won't need this. You can use a more traditional build. But, you know, if you're running Ascended and you're trying to optimize, then yeah, go for something like this. I thought I was closer to 200. I guess I would be with the plus 5 here, plus 5 here. I really don't want to sacrifice the plus 16 Signet of Endurance ZG enchant. I might, you know, if I have to, I will, and just craft another Dark Soul shoulder. And that is what it is. I'm just looking if there's any other another neck piece. Probably more for druids and, like, more offensive classes would be the Incendisar Bonestring, which is also like a Searing Gorge World Forged. Every World Forged I'm showing you now is fully upgraded. So, like, just keep that in mind. You know, they do cost a lot of Runes of Ascension, especially trinkets. Every other piece I think costs, like, every trinket I think fully upgraded is like 105k runes. And then other pieces, like, I think it was only like 43,800, like 43,800 to get this piece fully upgraded. You know, I don't know exactly what it is, but for like other alternative trinkets, you know, because these don't provide anything but fire resistance. Oh, I guess this Blazing Emblem does have a use. So, like, get rid of Molten Core Medallion for, like, Winter's Last Embrace, because you'll get extra stamina, and you'll get more mitigation with its built-in use. It's not great. It's not the Deceiving Refraction. It's not Signet of Vitality. It's not the Charm of Valor, but there is still, like, mitigation built in. Like, taking damage below 20% health grants you a shield absorbing up to 250 damage, and that lasts for 15 seconds. And only a 30-second internal cooldown should be enough time for healers to get you up to max, you know, assuming you're running 5 or 6 healers in your raid. And I'm really hoping at 200 there's no, like, knockback with Rag, but I don't know, you know? I'm going in Ascended first night, I think. If not first night, then second night. And then I have to put this here. Let's just see how this changes things. Okay, 164. So I put this here. This would be 184 on use. I know I'm going fast, guys, but I tend to love the sound of my own voice, and I can go on for a very long time. But yeah, and again, Dimly Opaque Ring of Fire Resistance. I was just using this as an example, because I myself have to run quite a few Sholomancer runs to get another roll. And again, another shield alternative, I believe it's the Dire Maul shield, is the Draconian Defender Mythic. I think it's 11 fire resist, so it's not as much as Crimson Dragon Scale, but if you are lacking for hit, it's something to consider. You know, this is a helm. What am I at here? Okay, that's 10 hit. To get your hit up, you know, you can use the Flayer's Helmet World Forged. I'm at 79. Now I'm thinking you really don't want to do, like, a hit enchant on your feet. Does Gurubashi provide any hit? No, it's just hit by 9. But I guess this Gurubashi helm, and this is only for like 125 to 150 on the auction house. Ascended version even, because these like drop so frequently. If you did like Synchronous Vengeance, you would have a 19 hit rating, so just let's do this. I mean, options, you know, if you don't have a, what do you call it, Drain Eye. So these are just like a lot of options you can use. Now to go into some other gear sets. You know, always have like I have more than what I'm showing in my bank, but like Greater Fire Res, few Sizzling Roasts, Scrolls of Stamina 4 or 5, Cooked Glossy Mitefish. These things only last 10 minutes, but it's 100 extra health basically for 10 minutes. They're really cheap. You can stack this on top of your Fused Sizzling Roast. As far as I know, there's no like 10-minute food enchant that has fire res. I haven't seen anything like that. So yeah, and you're gonna need the plus 15 fire resistance on Cloak. It's a must for like Rag. And now I'm just gonna go over some stuff in kind of like sequence here. So with my Bloodbath build, which is like my main prot DPS build, I highly recommend it. It's really great for you know, DPS, AoE, pulls, and anything. You can use it on boss fights. I've built in enough mitigation that you should be able to be fine. Still using the Cenarian Helm. This is where, this is like a kind of pill you can have some customization with. So instead, I've gone back to the insignia for the plus 17 strength. You don't have to use that. I mean, that's like for really maximizing your DPS and your crit. The item that you could use as an alternate would be the Battle Weaver's Necklace. The Ascended version gives you 11 hit. I think Heroic's 9. I think Mythic's 10. And that would mean that the standard one is 8. So there's something to consider. And this is without Draenei and without, I'm expertise capped without Seal of Vengeance or Corruption. Again, if you want to have a little more damage, you can sacrifice Deceiving Refraction. Your health will go down, but this is also a strength increase item to use. I got the Mythic Gazulian Tigerhide Cloak, and I'm just using the 70 armor enchant to give myself a little more physical mitigation. What's my armor at? Okay, 93. 9374. I don't think I use any Dark Soul pieces in this set anymore because I've got hit without. So I'm going to slow down now. Cenarian Helm. Alternative here is really just the Ascended Gurabashi. Those are more offensive-oriented items that have a lot of built-in armor and still provide decent stamina. Battle Weavers or Insignia of the Shifting Sands, depending on how comfortable your healers are. Bloodsoaked Pauldrons Ascended. 16 stamina, Signet of Endurance Enchant, which costs 15 Zandalar Honor tokens. You have to go to Zandalar Island and talk to one of the vendors there. That is pretty essential. It just increases your survivability. And so I've given, that's why I took out the Battle Weaver's Necklace for the Insignia. That's just me, though. I'm an aggressive player. Zandalar Freethinker Breastplate. Probably with the Bloodbath build, you don't need that 3% increase threat. So you can go with, another piece that has, plus 4 all stats or something. But there's, again, the chest piece alternatives. Not many. I would use the Zandalar for this, and this gives you, the 3-piece gives you attack power by 25 and your armor by 250. And these give you so much strength. Freethinker Arm Guards. I guess you don't have the Ascended Freethinker stuff or the Mythic Freethinker stuff. You could use Sentinel Vambraces, maybe Spider Fang or Plate of the Shaman King here. Fist of Phalanx, this is a 33 strength item. Still decent stamina, good mana. Freethinker Belt. If you're lacking the hit, or if you don't want the 3-piece set bonus, because you could probably go without it, honestly. You don't have to have it. You could go with the Crusader Girdle. I don't think this piece is replaceable. Bloodsoaked Lead Plates. It's too good. 51 strength on this with Synchronist Vengeance. Boots of Valor. Might need that for expertise capped. You could also maybe do a chest enchant that does the plus 8 expertise. And then if you have a Draenei, you can sacrifice the hit and use Blood-Soaked Greaves, which I would consider an alternative piece. One of the mitigation pieces I use the Protector's Ring. Provides a little bit of armor, really good stam, really good defense rating, hit by 10 and expertise. Warrior's Band, bought at the same ring vendor here in Stormwind, right outside Stockades in the Mage Quarter. Premium Banana or Deceiving Refraction or Zandalar Hero Charm. Kind of those 3 pieces are interchangeable. Refraction if you want more mitigation on demand. Banana if you want decent amount of stamina. And then if you're built for spell power or anything, go all out with Zandalar Hero Charm. Tougher piece to get though, unless you're lucky like me and I don't know, I'm just lucky and I've won the heart so many times. Signet of Vitality, pretty good for hit rating. It just provides so much stamina. I think it's pretty essential. I always kind of have this piece on all my builds, or most of them. Not the fire res one. I use this to get my expertise maxed. Scepter of Smiting Ascended. Alternatives could be like Iron Foe Mythic. If you don't care that much about expertise, you can get some more sustain with the Dreaming Eternity. Cenarian Clubber is pretty good damage as well. Ancient Dark Iron Mace is pretty good. It still has a little more, it has a good stat spread and more defensive utility. But I'm going all out for offense here, so Scepter of Smiting Ascended. I'm gonna get the Mythic, guys, I know. But that would be what I would use. There's not really an alternative here. And I think Archive a Record of Inquisition with the Gold Magnificent Polished, plus 8 spell power. Again, hopefully I can run a couple strats and get the Mythic run. But that remains to be seen how much I actually want to do that. I fucking hate Mythic Dungeons so goddamn much. And that's the Bloodbath build. I'm pretty sure my main mitigation... I know it's called Max Dodge, but it's not really. Let's see. I think this is the same. I took Chad's advice and I got the Twilight Face Guard with the Presence of Might enchant to add to the block value. Let's just see what block value is with the Dreadguard. Just heroic. 22. Bone Clenched. Let's see if I switch it out for... Obviously my expertise is going to go down. Blocks up just a little bit. Honestly, guys, for this mitigation one, stick with Bone Clenched or Ice Forge, depending on how you're built. Battle Weaver's Necklace. Have to use Dark Soul for a mitigation one. Overlords, like I said, there's 2 alternatives. I think maybe 3. So if you want to max block, I have the Ashen Cape here somewhere. Yeah, block is up. This Ashen Cape is better than Redoubt Mythic. Don't let anyone tell you different. Probably the 3rd or honestly 2nd best cape. If you want a little more armor, you can go with the Cloak of Warding. Xander's Belt's not bad either. The capes, there's a ton that you can use, to be honest. Slime-coated Cloak. Also not bad if you don't have the Ashen Cape. Let's just compare real quick. Okay, yeah, Ashen Cape's still best for block. Dark Soul Breastplate. Rune Golem Shackles. Dreaming Eternity. Shield is really fight dependent, as I said, but, you know, Dreadguard's Mythic is, I think, best in slot. Liberum of Truth. Bone Clenched. Unmelted Ice. I think that's the right one. Dark Soul Leggings. Stompers. There's less wiggle room on this build, I would say. Overlord's Onyx Band and Overlord's Crimson Band provide so much stamina. If you don't have these, you know, Protector Ring in one of these slots for that extra hit, expertise. Yeah, I'd probably get rid of the Crimson Band, because this one provides hit. Let's just do a comparison real quick. Hit rating goes way up. Expertise goes way up. Let's go put Crimson Band here. Yeah, I would say Crimson Band is the more expendable one. Deceiving Refraction, a must. They're going for like 2,500 gold right now. Try and organize your own Cetus World Boss. I don't like to do reserves because I like to gamble. But, you know, you can do your own reserve run and say, like, Sword and Trinket reserved or something, because 2,500 gold is quite a lot. Signet of Vitality. And that is my mitigation one. Pure Armor. I think I showed this off lastly, but maybe we can go over some variations. Alright. Instead of Gurubashi, you can use either Twilight, Flayers, Probably even Helm of Divine Silence, Centurion's Barbet, or Cenarian Helm. Battle Weaver's Necklace, maybe Talisman of Protection if you don't need the hit. All defensive oriented. Stoneform Shoulders, Cloak of Warding. I mean, this is going for like maximum armor. Like you're doing Magistrate Bartholus and he's bugged and you want to get the clear anyway. Or like Bloodlord Mendaliker on Ascended. Just fights like that, you know. Battleborn. Could probably get rid of this for like Razor Gauntlets or Stone Grip Gauntlets. Let's just see how this affects things. Yeah. Stone Grip. There's also the Force Imbued. Your hit's good. Expertise could be made up with Mythic Rubidium. Not heroic, not quite. But I think Mythic Rubidium would get you there. With the Force Imbued Gauntlets. Handcrafted Mastersmith Girdle. Bloodsoaked Leg Plates. Like, alternative could be like Leg Plates of the Eternal Guardian. It's 5 more armor. It's very much a passive piece that gives you a lot of defense rating and dodge. But just like the stat spread, and you're only losing 5 defense rating. Bloodsoaked Leg Plates still probably best for like a pure armor build. Stompers. Prized Possession, Protector Ring. The Nagel Ring Mythic could be an alternative. Let me just see here. What am I thinking here? Do I want to just go Fire Gut here, actually? Yeah. Instead of the Timber Maw one, go with Fire Gut. Timber Maw would be a second best. Just the Blood God. If you're going for pure armor, there's a shield in Silithus. It's a Quartermaster one. It's just like the shield there. I think it's like 2789 armor. Could use that as an alternative if you haven't been running ZG. Libram of Truth. Blah blah blah. And that's about it, guys. So I just wanted to kind of highlight those pieces for Fire Res. Go over my 3 main builds, I would say. I guess Fire Res is my 4th main build now. I've got all the World Forge stuff I need, I think. One thing of note for Ret Paladins, Forbidden Fruit got a huge nerf. I know I didn't have this fully upgraded. I don't play Ret that much, but I do know that it's kind of dog shit now. So just be aware of that. And yeah, just really appreciate everyone's kind words throughout the process. I'm glad people find these videos so informative. They will continue. And, you know, if you like this stuff, subscribe. You can tune into my live streams. I try and run, like, pug raids sometimes. So if you ever want to go into one of those, you can join the Discord or message me on Discord or message me in-game, whatever. But, like, if you do want to do, like, a pug raid with me, like, try and bring consumes, try and flask, try and have your enchants, you know. I'm not trying to say this to be rude or anything, but I really just want to, like, clear this as fast as possible or raids as fast as possible so I can get back to, you know, work in real life. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone. Like, you guys are so nice, and the community here on Bronzebeard I really do enjoy. I like to try and make things fun in, like, my raids. I'm not really a high-stress, authoritarian guy, so anytime I do a raid, I don't ever do, like, res runs or anything like that. I like to gamble, and I like other people to gamble as well. Just as it was back a long time ago in 2004. You know, different time, but whatever. Thanks, guys. Signing out.